Okay guys, welcome back to direct and indirect proportion. There's a second method which I want to introduce to you, and this method will help you to actually create an equation first before you do the calculations, like what we're doing in the previous video. So let's begin. A car traveling at a constant speed travels 100 kilometers in 25 minutes. So before you go into your question, let's deal with the relationship again. So since it's called direct proportion, in direct proportion you say A is proportional to B. Then you need to remove the proportional sign. You say A, in place of the proportional sign you put equals to K. Then you put the B back. Now you will use the information which you are given to find K. So after you find your K, you can go on and calculate your question. So we have kilometers and minutes. This is distance, this is time. So a car traveling at a constant speed travels 100 kilometers in 25 minutes. How far can it travel in 10 minutes? So in 10 minutes, it will travel less than 100 kilometers. So this is direct proportion. For direct proportion, you use this. So let's start. Distance is proportional to time. This is distance, this is time. Distance is equals to K times time. You remove this, you put this 2. Now, K is equals to distance over time. Let's look for our K. How do we look for our K? You look for what you were given here. Distance we're given 100. 100 divided by time we're given 25 is equals to K. 100 divided by 25, K is equals to 4. So this was the first step. Now let us do the calculations. The advantage in doing this is that you can have the formula which you are going to use. How far can it travel in 10 minutes? How far is the distance? So question number 1, distance is equals to K times T. Distance equals to, we know what K is. K is 4. Then time, 10 minutes. So our distance is equals to 4. 4 times 10 is equals to 40 kilometers. So how far can it travel in 10 minutes? In 10 minutes, you will travel 40 kilometers. Let's do the second one. How far can it travel in 1 hour? So we have our formula, distance is equals to K times T. Distance is equals to K, we know it's 4, times time, 1 hour. But remember, when we created our formula, we were using in minutes. Okay, we said 100 divided by 25. So our time should be in minutes. So 1 hour should be 60 minutes. So 4 times 60, that's 240 kilometers. These are the same answers as we got when we did the same question in the previous video. Example number 2. It is known that 3 hours is 180 minutes. How many minutes do you have in 24 hours? So the more the hours, the more the minutes. So this is direct proportion. Hours is directly proportional to minutes. Hours is equals to K minutes. Now let us find K. Hours divided by minutes is equals to K. 3 hours divided by 180 minutes. Take note, we are using our time here as minutes. 3 hours divided by 180 is equals to K. So your K is equals to 3 into 3, 1, 3 into 18, 6 into 0, 0. Our K is 1 over 60. How many minutes do you have in 24 hours? So what we want here is minutes. So let us start here. H is equals to Km. We want minutes. So H divided by K is equals to minutes. Or you can just substitute directly. H is equals to, for K, it's 1 over 60 times M. So you can take 60 to this side. Then you have 60H is equals to M. So M is representing minutes. H is 24, so 60 times 24 is equals to the minutes you want. 60 by 24, so we have 1440 minutes. Let's do the second one. How many minutes do you have in a quarter of an hour? Okay, so H is equals to Km, and H is equals to K, we know it's 1 over 60 times M. So we are looking for minutes in quarter of an hour. So this is a quarter, and we multiply by 60 both sides. 60 will come this side. So we are left with 60 divided by 4 is equals to minutes. So this is 15 minutes. So this is the same with what we did in the previous lesson. Now, the good part about this is that you can create a relationship or an equation, because they will ask you sometimes to create an equation. So let us do indirect proportions now. A bus traveling at 80 kilometers per hour. Okay, before we start that, when you're doing indirect proportion, you say A is, for indirect proportion, say 1 over B. A is indirectly proportional to B. Okay, then you say A, you remove the alpha. You say A is equals to K is now here, over B. So this is what you do when you're doing indirect proportion. A bus traveling at 80 kilometers per hour finished a journey in 8 hours. A tractor traveling at 30 kilometers per hour will take how much time to finish the same journey? Now we have less speed now, so the time to finish should be longer. So let us start. This is speed and this is time. So speed is indirectly proportional because this is not a direct proportion. Why? Because when you are decreasing speed, time will increase, so it's indirect. Speed is indirectly proportional to time. Let's remove the alpha. You put is equals to K over T. So we have our relationship now, but before we continue, we need to find K. Let's use this data. Our speed is 80 is equals to K over our time. Our time is 8. Okay, 8 for 8 hours. This is the speed, this is the time. So we substitute here. So your K is equals to 80 times 8, and we get our K as 640. It has got no units, it's a constant. A tractor traveling at 30 kilometers will take how much time? We need to find T, okay? To finish the same journey, we need to find T. So come here, S goes to K over T. So S times T is equals to K. T is equals to K over S. So let us substitute and get the time. We know that our K is 640 divided by, what's the speed here? A tractor traveling at 30. So let us divide. 64 divided by 3, that's 21.3, and our time was in hours, so this is 21.3 hours. So your tractor will take 21.3 hours to cover the same journey. Let's do part 2 of the question. A bullet train traveling at 400 kilometers per hour will take how much time to finish the same journey? So we also want time. We know the formula for time. We have used it. T is equals to K over S. So K is 640 and the speed is 400. So our time is, we get 1.6. Our time is in hours. So a bullet train will take 1.6 hours. And these are the answers from the previous lesson when we're doing the same thing using method number 1. It is known that 10 men can build a house in 7 days. How many days can 30 men take? So we have more men, it should take less time because they are helping each other. So this is an indirect proportion because one is increasing and the other is decreasing. So this is an indirect. For indirect, you say men is indirectly proportional to days. So men is equals to K over days. So MD is equals to K. We can now find our K. K is equals to, we have the men, 10, we've got the days, 7. 10 times 7, so our K is going to be 70. So let us calculate number 1. How many days can 30 men take? So our formula MD is equals to K, so we want D as subject of formula. D is equals to K over M. So D equals to K is 70 divided by M, men, 30 men. How many days can 30 men? So 70 divided by 30, this is 2.3, and since it's D is days, 2.3 days. Let's do part 2. How many men can do the work in 5 days? So we want men now. MD is equals to K. So for men, we leave M here. M is equals to K over D. So men is equals to K is 70 divided by D. How many men can do the work in 5 days? 70 divided by 5. So 70 divided by 5, that's 14. So it's 14 men. And these are the answers from method number 1. 2.3 days, 14 men. 2.3 days, 14 men. But the advantage with this second method is you will have formulas, and this will help you in so many different topics than this topic alone.